to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the Steel Basement. And yes, we will be talking again about the Pittsburgh Steelers draft picks of the 2020 draft. So we're definitely going to get into that. I say we because I expect to have my good brother Tony on the line, or maybe not Tony. I know sometimes Tuesday might be a little difficult for him as far as chiming in via phone, but I definitely will have Kenyon, and we will be talking about the draft picks. That's mainly what we're going to talk about, man. But first and foremost, before we do that, as I'm looking over here in the chat, let me say what's up to you guys who are already viewing. Really quick. What's up to Steve Williams, Brett Fine, Michael Garman, JJ Walker, Jared Devil, Trey Briggs, Stillmatic, Darren Tressler. Who else we got up in here? Victor Johnson, more AGWS, Jason Winningham, Lee Sharp, Builder's Life, Mr. ABS. Builder's Life got quite a few things here to say already. Todd Christian, Bill Cox, Rajon 39, Joseph Dellavicia, Tyrone, excuse me. Why do I keep saying why am I saying Tyrone every time I see that name? Tyrone Johnson from the 757, another Virginian. Gotta say what's up to him. And that's about it at the moment. I do real quick, I peek here at the live chat here, the live running. I see both Debbie and Lanisha. So hello, ladies of the chat. Gotta give you guys a proper hello. So let's get to it. And first and foremost, man, before we start, we're going to see if Blog Talk is official tonight. I see area code 203. Okay, whoever 203 is, can you please give me a confirmation in the chat that you can hear me, not just through the stream. Confirm that you can hear me via phone. Okay, confirm that you can hear me in the phone. And if you can, then I'll have Kenyon call in that way. So Kenyon can also hear the callers when we accept callers. If you cannot, then what we'll more than likely do, man, is we'll have to do the bootleg version. We'll bring Kenyon on via Skype, and then, he won't be able to hear your question. I'll kind of have to paraphrase it. So you guys know the routine, man, and I appreciate you guys always being, supportive and rolling with the punches when Blog Talk tries to stop us. But let me make sure. Can you guys hear me? Whoever 203 is, give me a confirmation that you hear me on the line. On the line. Can't hear me through the phone. Okay. So that's Joseph Dellavicia. I tell you guys, and here's the funny thing. I sent them another email. On April 27th saying that I'm not happy with the service because I sent my first email on April 7th explaining to them why I was not happy, and explain again because of this email you haven't responded to. And I haven't heard back on this one either. Now, I will be fair in saying I don't know what the status is of their work. I don't know, I'm going to be kind of sensitive because of the pandemic. I don't know if they were affected. I don't know. But after tonight's show, I will be inquiring again. I'm going to look and make sure I have the correct service contact, because I told you guys before, they don't have a phone number. I cannot find a phone number for them. You have to submit your email. And this is a service that I pay for. This is unacceptable. So once again, before I bring Kenyon on, I'm going to say this because I know we get new viewers all the time. If any of you guys are familiar with another service, I'm going to do my research as well. I'm looking for another service that provides this service, okay? I need a service where there's a phone number that you can call in. I can put your calls in queue. I can manage the queue, whether I can mute you or unmute you, bring you in, bring you off. You don't need a login ID, so I do not want Google Hangouts. I do not want Zoom. I do not want Skype. All right, because those are not beneficial to everyone. Blog Talk Radio has been great for us when it worked. I think all of you would agree, right? So I need a system like this. So if any of you guys are familiar with any type of service like that, please make sure I see it in the chat or send me an email. SimFBallCritic@gmail.com. It's spelled exactly like it is here on the channel. SimFBallCritic@gmail.com. Please, if you know of a service similar to that, let me know, and I would be happy to take my money over there. All right, enough of the rambling. Let's get Kenyon on, man, because I don't even want to delay tonight. I want to get right to it. Because we're going to talk about some things. We're definitely going to talk about the draft picks. We're going to talk a little bit about T.J. Watt getting the fifth-year option and what that means. We also seen that coming. Steelers did exercise that today. And we're going to talk a little bit about Mason Rudolph that I don't know, some of you guys are probably not going to like it, but hey, man, that's what this show is for. We give our opinions respectively. We don't disrespect each other. So let me get Kenyon on here, guys. Y'all going to hear me dialing him up here in Skype. Now, I see two of you guys are in the queue, so let me confirm again really quick. Y'all can't hear me in the phone again, right? Let me just confirm that, because I know one time we said it wasn't working, then it started working. So let me confirm that one more time. I see 803 is in the queue, which I know is Jason Winningham. So if Jason, if you and Joseph can confirm again, are you able to hear me in your phone? Hopefully it's working now. If not, we're going to do the workaround. And I appreciate you guys bearing with me, man. I see we got 95 live viewers already, so I appreciate that. No, cannot hear me. All right, great. Let's get Kenyon in the building. Kenyon, go ahead and sign into your Skype, my good brother. Funny thing is, I know I ain't even got to tell you that because you always on point. So I'm about to call you now. Let me get the headphones on. The headphones on. Of course, Skype is doing some type of little update here. So bear with me, Steeler Nation. We're going to get rolling in just a minute. I promise you. How's everybody doing tonight, man? I hope everybody's well. Hope everybody's taking care of themselves. I hope no other news has transpired since the last time I was here with you guys, as far as the COVID-19 situation. So I hope everybody's family is still safe. You're safe. I'm assuming if you're here, you are safe. So I'm glad to see each and every one of you. Virtually, of course, I'm seeing your names. All right, here goes Skype. So let's get Kenyon on. About to call you right now, brother. Assuming if you're here, you are safe. All right, there he is. Kenyon, what's going on, man?
How are you?
What is going on?
How is everybody?
How is everybody? Kenyon is asking. So you guys let us know. Look, I see somebody says Ravens in the house. What up, Sim? Let's be more murder. It's all good, man. It's all good. Y'all had a great draft. But yeah, we doing good over here. So all right, Kenyon, man. I told Miss Lady that it would be an hour. I'm gonna stick to that tonight. So let's get right into it. And I'll ask you, what you want to start with? You want to start with the fifth-year option, the Mason Rudolph talk that we wanted to have, or addressing the draft picks? Which one you want to hit first?
I guess we go with we can save Mason for later. Because I know you want to talk about that. The fifth-year option, that's a nice place to start before you start getting into the draft. The draft is kind of the main topic.
Definitely, man. I'll be very brief, guys. Y'all hear me all the time, so I definitely want to give Kenyon as much airtime as possible. With the fifth-year option, I mean, I knew it was coming. It's not a surprise to me. I don't know how much it is yet, but the funny thing is, if Bud Dupree was playing on a $9 million deal for his fifth-year option, and I'm assuming, I don't know how the figures are going to be, but I'm assuming it's going to be that or more for T.J. Watt. And it's just what the Steelers got to do, man. I think if you look at it from a business standpoint, folks, they're not going to extend T.J. Watt this year. They're probably going to look to do it in the next offseason. It buys them some time as well. Maybe they do like a wink situation with TJ and say, look, if we can wait another year, speaking beyond next year, Ben Roethlisberger will be retired. We'll have more money to work with. But I knew this was going to happen even because of that. Even if they get a deal done, next year, they're going to try to find a way to make those massage the numbers to where the bulk of it will come after Roethlisberger is gone, because we just can't afford it right now. That's just what it is. That's a smart way to do business. You have that right with a first-round pick. I knew it was coming, so I have pretty much nothing really to say there. But let me let Kenyon, dive in on that so you guys can hear his opinion, man. What you think about, first, them doing the fifth-year option, and by any chance was it as a surprise to you at all?
No, because we kind of expected it, so it's not a big thing. It's gonna be interesting to see how everything will work out after, how much money they'll have, because that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And TJ is gonna get a lot of money, so it's just gonna be interesting to see how they play that out. Can they sign him and Bud Dupree together? That would be interesting. You really can't see them being in a good financial situation until Ben's contract is up, and that's 2 years down the line. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I think there are a lot of people on our team this year that are playing for their future on the Steelers, and whether it's Connor or whether it's Juju, or they're going to have to make a choice. So I'm cool with it. How I feel about TJ. Me and you've been on TJ. That's my guy. So TJ is. I just want him to keep progressing. Hopefully, 48 progresses. And if he plays good this year, I'm calling him his name. So, but he hasn't gotten to that point yet. But that's pretty much it. I mean, that's it. That's all I have on that. I'm ready to move on to the draft. We already know what's up with that. Steelers handle their business in that situation, so we can talk about prospects and how we feel, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, we might as well dive into that, man. I'm trying to figure out the most efficient way to do it so we're not overlapping. I think what we could do is, in no particular order, I guess one of us can take the lead on the one pick, and then whoever else didn't say anything, give their quick comments, and then vice versa on the next pick.
Right.
So yeah, I guess I could kick it off with Chase Claypool. And what I'm doing really quick, guys, is just to make sure my memory is still correct, I'm gonna do a fail safe here and go to Steelers.com so I can get the actual picks in the order. So Chase Claypool, guys, I watched a ton of him since the draft. I told Kenyon today, and him and Tony, and Tony's a Notre Dame fan. I said, look, after watching this guy extensively, I don't think the Steelers could have passed him at 49. Now, this is my opinion, guys, so hear me out, because I know some of you guys disagree, and it's cool. What we're hearing about him is not placebo. And what I mean by that is, I kept hearing all of this, he could be like Megatron, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, But then I started seeing people really comparing him. I mean, like the NFL aficionados, if you will, and I'm doing the air quotes, but they put the numbers, and not the numbers necessarily, but the measurements side by side. And I'm like, well, listen, man, this guy makes combat catches. There's no denying it. He plays like he's 6'4", 238. No question about it. And his catch radius is crazy. His hands, to me, look pretty good. Now, I haven't watched every single game, so I'm sure somebody's going to say, oh, well, what about this game when he dropped? All receivers have drops, but I didn't see I watched like 6 games of him, all of his snaps. Then I went and looked at 6 or 7 highlight mock-ups. Then I looked at the video that I always forget which one it is, but one of the Sims sons, whichever one played at the Jets, I think, whoever played with Brandon Marshall, that one. He did a breakdown of Chase Claypool, like 24-minute long video breaking down his short game, his route running. If you haven't seen it, I will find that link while we're on the phone. while I'm on the show here, and then I'll post it in the description or I'll post it in the chat. Man, this dude is all right, man. He's a beast. Like I said, physical, catch radius crazy, loves contact, fast enough to split the seam, a punisher when he runs. Now, he's not the greatest route runner, but I will honestly say I'm going to give him a little bit of pass on that, meaning can he run the route tree, or did, Notre Dame just use him in a certain way? We don't necessarily know that. I didn't watch him extensively at the combine, so I didn't watch all of the, the little workouts that they do as far as routes. But this guy could be a superstar for us based off of the way we pass the ball. And Ben Roethlisberger has been campaigning for this type of guy for so many years. And I was telling Kenyon this as well. I think we might see a situation, and this is all, assuming that he's going to ascend and he's going to progress and he's going to get up to speed. And we could see a situation where he might, he's going to be the X, I think. I don't know if he's going to start, because I think Deontay Johnson still has the leg up on that. When we do, if we go 11 personnel with 3 receivers, you would assume right now is Juju, Deontay, James Washington. But if he hits the ground running, and there was a quote out there, and I don't always like to, I don't like to unless I research it myself, I don't like to always believe what some of the beat writers are saying, but I did see something today. Apparently, they have Fichtner already saying that Juju will be used in more of a traditional slot situation. Now, for him to say that, that means that they plan on Chase Claypool being in the roster. Because you could have done that last year, technically. You could have kept Juju in the slot last year with Deontay Johnson. Or, well, I'm not going to say Moncrief because y'all know what happened with that. But remember what me and Kenya were saying last week. It don't change. Juju was primarily used in the slot anyway when we go 3 wide. Normally we slide him inside. Most of the time when you see him on the outside is when it's just 2 receivers. But I think now what you're going to see is Juju might be a situation where Juju goes to the Z and Claypool is at the X. When we out there in 12 where it's 2 tight ends, might take James Washington off the field a little bit. But this is all assuming. But I'm saying if looking at how he plays, if he can hit the ground running, it's going to be hard to keep him off the field. And if Fichtner is saying that, yeah, we're going to try to use Juju Smith-Schuster more, in the natural slot, that sounds like to me that Claypool is going to be on that field. So that's all I really got to say, man. He looks like an amazing talent to me. You guys have to always understand this as well. It's all based on projection. I can't sit here and tell you guys that Claypool will be Megatron or he will be Optimus Prime. I don't know. But it's projections. Looking at what he can be in our setting, I think he was hard to pass at that spot. That's just my opinion, man. But Kenyon, I know I went a little longer than I expected, man. What are your overall thoughts as of today on just Chase Claypool as a whole?
Man, you know how I feel about Claypool. When I was scouting certain players, it was basically between, I had, I had 4 receivers that I thought they could target. We do know now, this is the last time I'm talking about it, but we do know now that if a certain person was there, they would have taken him.
Yeah.
And if you're comparing both of the receivers, if you're comparing both of them, and I told Sim this, that they were working out together in LA for about 2 months. Pittman route running is superior to Claypool's. Claypool's a little bit more stiff. Pittman has better feet. I think he had the second fastest shuttle at the combine. But Claypool is, he's a little bit more stiffer, but you can work with that.
Yeah.
And And I think his blocking is great. I think their blocking is equal essentially. They both love special teams, which is great. And that's what the Steelers covet guys that like special teams. I always try to tell people that they love special team guys that can come in and just contribute. The more you can do. I like Claypool's hands. I've seen Claypool play for 3 years because USC plays Notre Dame every year. So, but I like what I've seen from Claypool. I think me and Sim were talking about this. We had to rank it now because I think we brought in T. Higgins into the conversation, and I think we would rank them maybe Pittman 1. I think you said Claypool 2, right? So Claypool would be 2, and then T. Higgins 3rd. So, I like what I see. He is a project. I do believe Juju will play the slot way more now. I think he was already doing it, but he'll play it way more now. I think Deontay Johnson, I guess, would be starting over Claypool, but it depends on what set they're in. But I think James Washington will lose a couple of snaps here and there. But look, you have to have 4 go-to receivers.
Yeah.
You have to be versatile on offense. And you add in Ebron, that's 5. You add in Vance, that's 6. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Norak might make the team.
He might make the team
because he's the backup. He's the backup slot.
Man.
I don't want to say that.
The funniest thing, real quick, not to cut you off, man, but when last week I said this is gonna help him not make the team when he got drafted, but then I started counting the numbers and I was like, wait a minute. There's still gonna be 6 spots more than likely. I don't think they do the 5-spot thing this year. He probably gonna make the squad. Man.
Nah. Yeah.
And that's including Kane, guys. That's including one of those other guys. Keep that in mind. That's including a Kane or Darbo, whoever can show and prove. Switzer is probably going to make the squad.
Because he's the only slot behind. Think about it. He's really the only slot behind Juju.
Yeah.
I mean, you could put Deontay Johnson can come out of the slot, but you don't really want him particularly there the whole in all the time. Deontay is quick enough to get out of breaks. He has a better route tree, but I don't necessarily want Deontay Johnson going across the middle a lot. So it's just kind of like, it just depends on, I just think Juju plays the slot. Norak is the backup to that. Norak will be on special teams. I really just don't want to have. I just don't want to see him on the field. But it's almost like it's a dirty red situation. Like, it's all good if you're on special teams, but that's pretty much it. But as far as Claypool goes, I'm not comparing him to Megatron. I'm not comparing him to Calvin Johnson because they're not.
Yeah.
They're similar in size and stature and running and speed, but Calvin Johnson was it's not close. He was a better athlete.
Yeah.
It's not. He was not close. So it's kind of like, hopefully he can become a go-to guy and one thing I do like about him is that you can't really press him. So he beats man press really good. So that's going to help him in the NFL coming in. So I mean, that's my thoughts on Claypool. You know how I feel. Me and you already shed our tears over not getting our guy, but it's all good though. So I moved on. I'm on the 2021. So it's, I'm just embracing the guys we have.
That's it.
And that's it. So I mean, who's next? What's the next pick? Let's get on to the next pick.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna let you start the next one off, and then we'll alternate like that. But I gotta make a quick comment here. I just peeked over here and saw it in the chat. Listen, we all entitled to our opinions, but I try to use, before I give an opinion, I try to use some type of facts to it, if that makes sense. Even though an opinion is not always fact. But I gotta say shout outs to Trey Briggs. He says Kane is better than Washington, quite frankly. Now, this is all I gotta say. Not gonna argue your opinion, But what are we basing that off? If we're looking at last season, there's no way we can say that. James Washington got off last year. Now, if you're saying Kane could be better, that's different. That's your opinion, but I don't know how we can make a statement and just flat out say he's better than Washington. I'm just saying. I need more evidence. Like, I need more. Give me a better explanation, and then I can say, oh, okay, I see your point. But I don't know. I digress. I don't know. So, Kenyon, the next pick, man, Alex Highsmith out of Charlotte. Somebody I had no idea about, but we've both watched him extensively over these last few days. So what are your thoughts on that pick? The second pick for us, round 3, pick 102.
Love this pick. We didn't know, like you said, we didn't know anything about him, but you and I both watched tape on him. Sim watched a couple of, condensed games, and I watched 2 games on him, particularly against Clemson and against App State. And let me tell you something. The guy has pass rushing moves. He has pass rushing counters. Once he gets stronger, I like what I see. He's relentless. He doesn't stop. Particularly against Clemson, I really enjoyed what he was doing against Clemson because, they were getting smacked, but he was beating their tackles. He was doing what he needed to do. They moved him all around, up and down the line. I don't think Pittsburgh will do that, but I'm interested to see, can he play off ball a little bit. And I don't think he's a replacement for 48, but you never know. So it's one of those things where I can't really I have no issue with that pick because I knew they were going to go edge at some point. We just didn't see it coming. I think it's kind of a sleeper pick, I would say. It's a surprise, but it's like a sleeper pick. He might be.
Yeah, he might be.
He might be the best pick in his class if he just does what he needs to do. So he's automatically going to walk in and be the third linebacker. He's going to automatically do that. The person who needs to worry about
he would have got anybody else.
Oh, go ahead.
He would have got, in my opinion, just to give y'all a quick dose of where I'm going to go with it. If Chicolo wouldn't have had a chance, if they was competing in training camp, just off of the raw talent that I see that this dude got, yeah, he definitely walks in as the number 3, I think.
Yeah, he's. I think our boy Tuzar's in trouble. I think Ola's in trouble. Depending on which side they line him up on. Yeah. One of those guys will not make the 53. Just telling you, they will not make the team. So, from what I saw, particularly against App State, me and Sim was texting me. We were just saying he drew a holding penalty.
Oh,
got a sack, almost got a pick. He was just disruptive. So it's, I really like what I see from him. To me, he's the guy I'm looking at, and I'm just, my appreciation of him is getting better and better just watching him. So I'm gonna do a little bit more. I'm gonna watch a couple of more games on him.
Yeah.
But I like to see. I really like Highsmith. I think it's a solid pick, and it's great scouting by Pittsburgh, and it's a great pick. I think it's a great pick. So that's my thoughts on him. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, and it's funny that Kenyon finished up that by saying great scouting, because I think we're going to say that later on here when we talk about another pick. Man,
yes.
Pretty much what Kenyon said. After watching him, it's always interesting when don't know these guys and you watch them. It's just like last year. Y'all remember when we all were kind of floored when they picked Deontay Johnson, and we all was like, who? From where? And then when we watched him, I might have been one of the first ones saying, hey, man, this dude kind of like AB. And then as we watched him a little more, I think Kenyon hit it right on the head. He said, you know what? He's kind of more like Emmanuel Sanders. And look at what Deontay Johnson turned out to be. Now, granted, it was his rookie season. Not saying he was a world beater, but look what he did. He showed us what he could be. And keep in mind, Mason Rudolph, who some of you guys can't stand him, and what's the other guy? Duck Goose back there.
Oh, Duck Hodges.
And look what he was able to do. So, got to give the Steelers brass a little credit with the scouting, man. And so, basically, with Highsmith, I told Kenyon this the other day. This dude, to me, has shown that he shows me that he has all the tools. He has multiple moves. He'll try to win different ways. Seems to have a motor. You know, sometimes he does look like he gets washed a little bit. You know, it happens. Mm-hmm. But one of you guys in the comments actually said exactly what I was going to say. And I think I might have said this when we talked about him on draft night. It does kind of remind me of TJ Watt in the sense of, we had the same feeling about him, kind of. Only difference was we knew who he was because he was at a bigger school. But I feel the same way. Like, yo, he got some raw talent. If this can translate, we got something. That's exactly how I feel about Highsmith. He has the intangibles. Just go watch him, man. He has a plan. You can clearly see it. And I'm going to agree with Kenyon all the way on this one. As a pure pass rusher, he looks to be a better pass rusher than Bud already. We're not saying how successful he's going to be. We all know he hasn't played a down in the NFL yet. But you can tell a natural pass rusher from somebody who just happens to win. Like, last year, Bud showed a little wiggle. But still not the multiple moves that you see from a TJ Watt, right? So, Highsmith is more along the lines of Watt. Now, is he going to be that? We'll see. But I think this was a steal because, again, I definitely didn't have my eyes on him at all. Charlotte, no. I didn't look at nobody from that team, and no disrespect, but it's just some schools that I'm just not going to pay a whole lot of attention to unless somebody is, just happens to be blowing it up, which he was, but I wasn't hip to it. So that's my thoughts on him too, man. I think that's a great talent. I'm going to pay attention to it heavily, though, because, again, remember last year when it was a guy that we didn't know about and a Deontay Johnson. Is something to say about those guys that the Steelers get that you don't really know about, and they pick them relatively early. Anybody remember the name of Javon Hargrave? There you go. That's another one in the third round. So I'm going to lay back and let them do what they do as far as the scouting. But go check him out if y'all haven't, man. Don't just take our word for it. Next up, Anthony McFarland. Well, I'll give you my quick thoughts on it. I definitely can't wait for you guys to hear Kenyon's thoughts because, he was on him early. I told y'all that the other night. This guy, let me just say this. For you guys thinking he's going to take James Conner's job, it ain't happening. McFarland is not necessarily that type of back. I don't think he could be that in Pittsburgh. But he is going to be a change of pace back. I think he definitely has an opportunity. Maybe we get a little cute with that plan and we decide we want to do a lot of single back action. And we want to run, some motions and things like that, Kenyon also brought to my attention that Canada ran. And then we might see him on the field a little more. But to me, as that change of pace, I'm just judging him based off of his speed. I ain't seen nothing like that in Pittsburgh in a long time. A long time. Now, some people could say Mendenhall had a little speed. No. This guy, even though he isn't a 4.3 guy, he reminds me more of Willie Parker. As far as we knew when he put his foot in the ground and cut up, he was out. That's what McFarland reminds me of. He hits the hole extremely fast. And I know some of that is the way they, the sprint action and all that they were doing in college. But dog, he get to the hole so quick. It's almost like his negative runs are 4 yards. It's crazy. Is it going to be that way in the league? I don't know. Did I think it would be him? No, I didn't think the Steelers would pick him that early, if you want to call it early. But after watching him, I can't say he's going to be an outstanding back for us. I just think he's going to be the type of guy that we will definitely be able to utilize and take advantage of that speed. After a guy like perhaps Connor or Benny Snell has broken down the defense, and then here you go bring him in. You know, when the last time y'all felt comfortable was us running any type of toss sweep or anything like that? I feel all right with this dude. When the last time you felt really good about running, like, even though we do it from time to time, but running some like zone and stretch plays? I feel like we might be able to pull that off with him, because I'm telling you, once he hit the hole, he's out of there. He is out of there. Like, go watch that Ohio State game. My God. So that's how I feel about that, Kenya, man. I don't think he's going to be... We're not talking about a Le'Veon Bell situation where it's... When I seen him in college and I thought that Pittsburgh was interested, I said, oh, this dude could be really special. Because I saw everything that he had. I didn't know that Bell was going to slim down a little bit and add a little more wiggle to his game. But to me, I knew, oh, this dude he could end up being one of the best running backs we ever had. I don't think you're going to say that about McFarland. But I think McFarland is going to do the job that I think we drafted him for. We drafted him for speed, change of pace, no nonsense, one cut runner. And there you go. That's my quick assessment on him. What you think, man?
It's weird. You know, we always talk, it's just weird that I scouted that dude a year early, and didn't even really. It's kind of, I forgot about him, which is kind of crazy. I just forgot about him, and they picked him up. I think he's, from what I saw, from, like you said, if you watch this kid on tape, it just depends on if the Pittsburgh Steelers and Randy Fichtner allows Matt Canada to allow some of Canada's ideas within that offense, and if Ben will be receptive to it. Because if you watch the Ohio State game and you watch what Matt Canada was doing, he was running motion. And Sim loves this about the 49ers. Sim talked about this every time he watched San Francisco. If you watch what the motions that Matt Canada was running, and they were running to the short side of the field. All of McFarland's big runs were to the short side. So I would encourage you guys to watch that game and just watch the motions that Canada was employing within the situation. And they used them in the jet sweep situation. And, he had 280 yards. 280 against Ohio State. Those are pros. He was doing this against pros. So, he's not going to be an every down back. He can't carry the ball 20 times. You can give it to him like 8 to 15, 8 to 12, and then get him out the backfield. They said they lined him up in the slot a couple of times. I got to go back and check that out and see how they used him in the slot. And he played on an ankle injury this year. He played through the ankle injury and just played through it. And I'm just happy. If they were going to take a back, it had to be the opposite of what was in the room already.
Yeah.
And Snell, Connor, and Samuels are all the same. Kareth White and McFarland, I guess you could say, would be the same, but Kareth White's not making the team now. That's it.
Yeah, he might be in trouble. Unless
that's it.
Jalen Samuels, I'm just gonna put a bold prediction out there. Could be him that's in trouble. We'll see. I don't know. I just gotta say something different just to see.
I think you keep Samuels, and you might have to get rid of. Kareth White might not make it. Look, it's no slight against White. It's just a numbers game. So this kid right here is explosive, and like Sim said, he's Willie Parker like, because once he's out the gate, it's over. So it's something that Pittsburgh doesn't have, and I think it's sorely needed. And Tomlin knows the kid because he's frequent around the Maryland program, and I'm excited about this kid. I just hope he stays healthy. I hope he, he stays out of trouble. And I really want to see this kid play. I'm excited about watching him play. And that's my thoughts on him. I don't have to talk about him because really I talked about him 2 years ago.
Yeah, you did, man.
Sim just reminded me of it, and I forgot about him. So, that's one of those. I don't like to say I called something, but it's like you saw it before, and then it just happened to happen because I actually forgot about it. So, I'm on. We can move on to the next pick because actually I don't really know too much about this kid, and you watch more film than I have.
Oh.
So, in the fourth round they picked up Kevin Dotson out of Louisiana. My thoughts are I haven't watched a lot of film on him. This is all sim. This is going to be all sim. So
he might
go
be
ahead.
Him and Alex Highsmith are going to be in competition for best underrated pick in our draft class. This dude, man, he is a furniture mover. That point blank period. A furniture mover. And like I said, I don't know if you guys read into the Pro Football Focus and all that kind of stuff, if that's your vice, but they rated him the top interior offensive lineman in the draft. So I was like, let me take a look. Man, I really don't understand why he wasn't invited to the combine. This dude is outstanding as a run blocker. He can move. He's big and strong. He's physical. I watched 4 games, and I'm going to watch some more because I always want to see the good and the bad, and that's not necessarily bad where I look at a player and be like, oh, he sucks. Because, you got to see what they're going to do on the next level. But I want to see where they're weak, where their inconsistencies are, what we need to look out for as he progresses. Maybe in the pass game, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't pay attention to as much of his pass protection because I was just in awe over his run blocking. I never saw him in 4 games. I didn't see him get pushed backwards. 90% of the time, he's on the second level or is pancaking. Like, this dude is good, man. Trust me. And I told Kenya too, man, watching their film, man, I like that little quarterback they got, man. I mean, he might not be great right now, but it was something about how they run their offense. Reminded me a lot of Baltimore. And this guy kind of plays kind of like Lamar Jackson is, kind of doesn't run like that. But, yeah, let's keep an eye on the Lewis kid. He might be somebody in the next year or two. That offense was sweet. I love how and they got a little sneaky receiver crew out there too. That kid, I want to say his name is Jackson. I could be wrong, but he's number 17. But, man, this dude is a mauler. And all I could think about was how we like to run power. I really believe at whatever point he gets the opportunity to play, I hope he's able to play alongside DeCastro. Not saying anything negative to, about Wisniewski, but I want to infuse more youth. I would love to see him and David at the guards, and we can go power left or right. Because this dude, man, I'm looking in the chat. I want to know if anybody else watched him. Let me see. Kevin Spartan says, Kevin Dotson going to beat up the bully for you. He the bigger brother you get when you in trouble. I'm telling you, man, this dude, just go watch the film. Big nasty is what he is. I don't understand. I don't know how he got overlooked. I don't know. All I know is I'm glad we got him where we got him. Now, I know some people could argue they didn't want to get an offensive lineman. But like Kenya said, I'm not gonna beat up the Steelers until we see what these players are. I mean, we might not always agree with the player and or position, but all we can do at this point is just roll with it. Because I see some people hot, cursing, this and I'm like, what is that gonna do? So you gonna still be a fan, or it ain't gonna change nothing. Like, some people seem like they throw away they steal a fan card every 10 seconds. Like, we still gonna support the team. I mean, it is what it is. Let's just hope that these players will work out. But yeah, that's my quick assessment on that dude, man. He is big and he is a mauler. And I didn't see him getting pushed back. And the biggest thing that stood out to me is most of the time he was up on the second level. I mean, boom. Quick duo blocks, like he's here and then there, and guys running right off of his hip. Very impressive, man. Wow. Looking at the time, it's already 8:17, so we're gonna speed this up a little bit, guys. And I'm gonna throw it to Kenyon. I see we got calls in the queue. I know you guys can't hear me, so what we'll try to do before I wrap up is we'll let you guys just say your piece really quick. But who we got next, man? Let's see. Antoine Brooks Jr., the safety out of Maryland. This one was a little questionable to some people because they felt like, including, guys we respect like Steelers Depot, it felt like we should have went safety a little earlier. But what's your quick thoughts on him, Kenya, man? What type of player do you think he will be for us?
I watching Maryland. I watched 3 games so far, and I'm just gonna say this: in the box, he's a little monster. He's a relentless player. My thoughts I wrote notes, which is he's rangy in the box, hybrid safety, linebacker, very good in the box, can be exposed in coverage though. Yeah. You don't want him trying to cover receivers because he got exposed. Sim saw it and I saw it. So Devin Duvernay made him look like he wasn't there. So
who is in the division? By
he can
the way,
get off
guys.
blocks. Right, who's in the division? Can get off blocks and will engage with linemen. Against Ohio State, he was taking on their linemen and talking smack the whole time, and he bullied the tight end on one play. Can shed blocks. He's very aggressive. He's also good in pursuit. He's an above-average tackler. I would say almost, that's probably his best trait. But he's a little beast. The only reason you don't talk about him a lot is because Savage was the other safety, and Savage overshadowed him because Savage was the playmaker. So, but they both are very good players. Everybody knows about Savage. That was Sim's guy last year. Yeah. I loved him too. So, but this guy is he's a little monster. He will play the Mark Barron role. He has a chance to play that. They can put him down in the box. He's not a playmaker. He doesn't get like a lot of picks. So if you're expecting, Terrell Edmonds' replacement, yeah, he's not it. But he could be in the box, and he's going to be like a safety / hybrid linebacker. Along with UG3, that's going to be interesting to see, how that plays out. I think UG3 is better in coverage already.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how they play that out. But his intensity, he's very disciplined. He's disciplined, and he's a sure tackler. That's my thoughts on him. I like what I see. I don't love what I see. I don't love anything like that, but I really like what I see, and I think it's a good pick, especially for what they got him. In the 6th round for a 6th round pick. I like it. And traditionally, Pittsburgh is good at 6th round picks. Look at the history. So that's my thoughts. What are yours?
Yeah, man, and I could keep it brief. I shared similar thoughts. He looks really good in the box, not so much in coverage. What concerns me is, and again, I know these, human beings, and 4.6 sounds slow in football terms, but it's not like he's crawling. But that's not good for a safety, especially if you're expecting him to make up ground. Now he's more than likely going to be a strong safety for us, or at least play in the box, even if we go 3 safety set. But I do like him I think he will be able to fill the role of what we tried to do with Mark Barron. I think we might see some unique situations on defense this year where we might get a situation where we got him and UG3 out there at the same time. 3 safeties and then still having 2 inside linebackers. It could get a little creative because these dudes hit. That's one thing about it. He thumps. He can hit. So you want to keep him in the box. My only concern, though, for our defense, we still don't have another safety. And I'm the main one saying that you don't always get everything. But we still don't really have another guy that we really like in coverage outside of Minkah Fitzpatrick. So Terrell Edmonds, to me, is going to have to at least take a leap in terms of covering better downfield. I'm not expecting him to be a ball hawk like Minka is. He's not that. But I hope he can continue to be where it looked like he was trying to go last year, and that missed interception to me set him back a little bit. Because that one was right in your, I mean, that was right there, hand delivered, and you mistimed it. Like that was the epitome of any of us who ever said, oh, he's not a ball skill type of guy. That summed it up in that one play. Like, come on, Evans, I've been sticking up for you all year, and then you missed that money one right there. So that's my only concern as far as deep. We still just have Minka. But I think we'll be all right, man. I think if you can have a guy that's scrappy, that can help the linebackers play underneath, that's going to make everything that much better. Because that pass rush, I think, will still be there. I don't think that's going anywhere. We're getting to it back. And there you go. But, yeah, that's my quick assessment on Brooks, man. I mean, I haven't watched his tape and came away with he's not that good. I haven't gotten that feeling from him. You know, the way I walk from it is like, he's decent. He'll hit you. And if you got him around the box, he's going to roam and he's going to make some tackles. So, if y'all was expecting us to get this mega safety, nah, it didn't happen. But I think it's a great pick, being that the Steelers need depth at safety, because Jordan Dangerfield ain't it. I'm sorry, he just ain't. It's never been it on the defensive side. But there you have it. They said Steelers should have drafted Xavier McKinney. Really quick, if anybody could tell me before we go to the next guy, the last guy here, when did he get drafted? What round did McKinney go?
I can answer the question. There's no way they were going to get Xavier McKinney.
Did he go
in the second? He went early.
Early second.
He went earlier.
That's my point. So
we weren't getting him.
Now, if you're saying that we should have drafted a defensive player with our 49th pick, okay. I don't know if I can argue that, but I think he might have went before that. I think he might have went before we took Claypool, if I'm not mistaken.
And also the blueprint, and also for people saying they should have drafted defense or making comments like that, Pittsburgh told you, they showed you where they were going. They laid it out.
Yeah.
They knew they weren't going to address defense at 49 because they were going to give Ben help. They did the opposite of what Green Bay did. Try to give Ben a weapon, not a replacement.
There you go.
So they weren't going. They were going offense, and we pretty much know where they were going. Especially as the draft started to really unfold, you could see it. It was they're going there. So it was too deep of a wide receiver draft for them not to address the wide receiver. And if you watch how the draft played out, the wide receivers started to fly off the board. Right at the end of the first round, beginning of the second round. They started to fly. So they had to make a move to get the receiver because there was no other big receivers I think they liked. So I think it was Pittman and him, and Pittman and Claypool, and that was the list. And then maybe if they got somebody late, you might get the Devin Duvernay. They want a slot quick guy, something like that. But I think they were going big because they needed somebody. They have, if you look at our receiver core, they're all little. Or not little, but you know what I mean? They don't have any 6'4" guys that are a threat. So I'm pretty sure that's how they were thinking. So, the safety position, this is Edmonds' third year. Let's see what he does. If he doesn't work out, like I said, 2021, there are great safeties coming out. I already know who they are. I've scouted them. So I know who's coming. So I'm not worried about it. Personally, but on to the next draft pick.
Yeah, man, and the truth be told, guys, it's no right or wrong answer as far as, who they should have drafted. I mean, we all going to have our players that we wanted. I see people saying we could have got Kayvon Wallace, and we could have. However, when the Steelers pick, the thing I think everybody should start looking at, and I'm not trying to tell y'all how to think, I'm just saying, let me give you a quick, small side story. I've had people come to me and say, man, you seem to know a lot about the organization. I'm just a fan, and it's interesting to hear you and, other people that they listen to, that like some of you guys kind of really know the ins and outs. Well, this is how I know it. I pay attention. I pay attention to what the organization does. And I also, when I see them draft a player, just like Kenyon basically just said, when they took Claypool at 49, even though I said earlier in this call, I don't think you could pass on him, but I think still, if you pay attention, that shows you they was going receiver the whole time. Now, maybe if Winfield was there, maybe. But I think they was going to go offense the whole time. So that's telling. All right, I see what they're trying to do. Third round comes around, or fourth round, whenever we got, or was it the third? We had 2 picks in the third, right? Yeah. We got McFarland.
Yeah.
I know
2 picks in the fourth.
Could have got Kayvon Wallace. I get it, but it's like, this is also telling. Wow, they still went ahead and got a running back in the fourth? Okay. Because if you wanted to just get a guy that's fast, et cetera, you can find that guy later. Mm-hmm. But it's telling that they went running back right there. That lets you know, yeah, they're going to find a safety later, more than likely. They've identified a safety or a corner that they feel like they could take a chance on later. And that's the reason why you see them pick a guy like, I'm about to say Winfield. I forget his name that fast. Brooks Jr. See what I'm saying? So you got to kind of just pay attention to what the Steelers do and roll with the punches, man. I mean, it's spilled milk now. We can't, it's cool to say I would have taken Kayvon Wallace, but, obviously the Steelers had a different plan. But like I said, it's no right or wrong answer there. I mean, we all can agree or disagree or what have you. So the last guy, Carlos Davis. Don't know much about him. I watched 2 quick mock-ups of him, so I'll be very brief. Then I'll throw it to Kenyon. What I see out of him is interesting to me because I want to know how we're going to play him. Doesn't look like a traditional nose tackle. I just texted Kenyon a little earlier because I was watching one of their games, and I'm like, man, what kind of defense are they running? It looks like sometimes it comes out and look like a 3-3-5. Other times it looked like a 4-2-5. And then there's times where they have 3 down linemen, including him. And he's on the edge, by the way. He ain't playing in the middle. But then they'll have 2 guys outside of them, way up on the line. Then they'll have 2 guys in the middle, almost like it's 2 nickel backers. And then you got your DBs in the back. There's other times where it was these 3 guys. Again, I saw Davis a lot on the edge. And then the 4th guy would be on the other side, and he might rush, and then there's 3 guys behind. I'm like, what? I couldn't clearly identify exactly what they were running. I know, like, some teams will run what you would call a 3-3-5 or something like that, but they'll line up funny. They might line up a little off balance or what have you. It's still, traditionally, they might be running. Like, for example, there's some teams, I've seen some teams run cover 2 that look like cover 1. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way they line up. I've seen people run traditional nickel and have everybody up on the line. But then when the plays start, you see everybody getting plays. So that's why I hit Kenyon up, was like, yo, what they running? I can't really tell what's their base. But anyway, to say my point, he ain't going to be lined up over the nose. He ain't going to be right over the center. Because I didn't see that. However, what I do see out of him is a lot of effort. On some of the plays where I saw like he got through and made some sacks or he made some tackles, he looks like an effort guy. He kind of reminds me, not as good, but he kind of reminds me of, I think we're going to use him how we use Javon Hargrave. I think we're going to do that. But it won't be in a base situation. I think from watching this guy, and let me take that back because we did use Hargrave more in a more nickel situation at times because we had him in between Hayward and Tuitt. I don't see that from this dude though, Kenya. I see him even as like he is a D tackle. He's not a nose tackle, if that makes sense. But I think that we might see him in some rush situations more than we'll see him in base. Base might be Dan McCullers. Or, depending on what we're going to do with Wormley, I think with Davis, you're going to see him more so when we do, Dupree, and I see him spelling a guy like Tuitt or Hayward when we go nickel. That's what I see out of him. And like I said, he got a little pop to him. He's not fantastic. He's not going to jump off the page, if you will. He didn't to me. But it looks like he's serviceable. He doesn't look like a sorry D tackle. It's just that I'm not quite sure how we're going to use him, because to me he doesn't look like a traditional nose tackle. But we'll see. But I don't know much about him yet, man. I got to do a little more scouting on him. But did you get a chance to take a look at him at all?
Yeah, I haven't gotten to him yet. So the little I do know about is him and his brother both played on that line, and maybe some of the sets you were watching was him and his brother. Maybe his brother was inside, but might be a poor man, Hargrave.
Yeah,
they might use him as a nose tackle. But the thing is, though, I just think Wormley's going to play nose tackle in those 3-4 situations sometimes. I think they're going to put Wormley at use him in that situation and do that. And if they do that, then it's going to be, Pittsburgh plays nickel most of the time anyway. So I don't know how much they will use him. I think, like you said, I think he would be the spell to it in certain situations. You got to think about Isaiah Bugs. Still got to think about, I just think they're going to be interchangeable in that position. I think when they run a traditional nose tackle, you might see Wormley. You might see Alu. And remember, they have Wormley listed as a nose tackle. He's not listed as a defensive end.
Right.
So if they're using him as a traditional nose tackle, Wormley played at Michigan. So it's, to me, I think that's how they would use him if he makes the tein. So he has an outside shot.
He's probably,
if he makes the team. I don't know.
Yeah, he's probably in the most danger. I know somebody asked me that. I think the Saturday show. I think he's at the most danger of not making the team. I think everybody else is probably making the squad. No doubt about it.
Yep.
So there you have it. He's not the worst. I see a little potential in him. Again, like Kenyon said, it's funny that he said the same thing. He will remind you a little of Hargrave, like a poor man's Hargrave, kind of how, just watching how he was lined up and how I think we would utilize him. But, nothing to really write home about. You never know. You never know what he might be, but we'll see. I wonder who he pushes off of the roster if he makes the team. Could definitely be a practice squad guy, though, if anything. Yeah. So,
I know people in the chat want to talk about the unrestricted, the UDFAs we signed. The only UDFA I know about, and I told Sim I would talk about him, is John Houston out of USC, who signed with Pittsburgh. I can just tell you that he is I don't know if he can make the squad. I think he can make the squad if he plays special teams. He's fast. He can read and recognize real well. I would say this: his sophomore tape is his best tape. I don't want to bash him but he has holes. That's the best way I could put it. And so I don't know if he'll ever even make the squad. But he was a great player coming out of high school. He's from the same high school that produced several Sarah players, which would be Marquise Lee, Adoree Jackson. They have so many people coming out of Sarah right now, but I would say he's just kind of like, I don't know if he can play in the 3-4, but I don't know. I was just joking with Sim and Tony that it's just because they are another USC player. I was just joking. I didn't think he'd make the squad, but he has a chance at special team. We'll see. And that's the only person I know about they signed as far as UDFAs. That's the person I know about because I watched them all 4 years. And, that's it. That's my scouting report on him.
That's it. I haven't watched any of those guys yet. I'm right there with Kenyon. So maybe next week I'll do that. What you guys are seeing me do right now, I'm sure y'all saw the window pop up on the screen there. Oops, I just messed it up. Hold on, give me a second. What I'm about to show you guys, this will be the last little bit of time that we'll have on the show. I see guys in the call queue, man. I definitely want to get your thoughts. If you guys can give me again one more time, let me know if you can hear me, so we know how to play this. If you guys are still unable to hear me, then y'all know we got to do the finagle. What we're gonna have to do basically is, y'all are gonna hear it say unmuted, and then you just start talking. All right, so somebody confirm that real quick as I configure this window, because the last thing Kenyon and I are gonna finish on is Mason Rudolph. And we'll be quick, because like I said, I'm a little over the hour now, so I got to get up out of here. But we're gonna be quick, I promise. But I just want to show you guys something here. Shout outs to Steelers Nation Highlights. If they see this video, I'm actually using their footage here as a backdrop. Still can't hear you. All right, so what we're gonna do? Let's go ahead and start with the calls while I'm getting this window together. What I need you guys to do, you're gonna hear it say unmuted. Just start talking. We all can hear you, except for Kenyon, because Kenyon is on Skype, but I can kind of paraphrase what you say. Just start talking. Keep it really short for us, guys, like a minute if you can, and we'll try to get all of you guys through. And after that, we'll do the little quick Mason Rudolph bit. We'll start with area code 203, and since I know there's gonna be a delay, let me say it now. I'm gonna pause about 20 seconds. Then I'm going to hit unmute. You will hear unmute in your ear. Just start talking. All right? That's all I need you to do. So starting now.
Hey Sim, how's it going? Thanks for taking the call. Just quick on the play pool. I thought it was good. The Steelers really needed two types of receivers. One is a big receiver. We didn't really have someone with size. I mean, Deion Kane was 6'2", and that's being nice. And they also needed someone with NFL elite speed, and they kind of got a 2-for-1 in him. But obviously he's still very raw. There's no denying that. He needs to work on route running. But it'll be key with him because every sign points to the Steelers running the ball heavy. Even though Roethlisberger's coming back, I don't think they're going to ask him to throw, 5,000 yards. And they're just not going to do that. With, they signed Watt, they signed Ebron. It's going to be a lot of ground and pound. And so you're really going to need someone like Claypool with, elite speed to keep safeties out of the box, especially if it's going to really help throughout the course of a game and throughout the course of the season to really be able to help the run game if you're able to, keep safeties honest. And I don't know if anyone on the team right now has that kind of speed to really, be a threat. So, I think that, and plus he's a really, really good run blocker. The only thing is in press coverage. His acceleration sometimes, it takes him a little bit to get going. So maybe if he even drops, 10 pounds, that could really help him. But thanks for taking the call, and keep doing what you're doing.
No problem, man. Appreciate you calling. No problem with taking the call. And thanks for working with us in terms of, the blog talk situation. So real quick, guys, what I'm probably going to do, man, is can't really reflect a lot on what you guys are saying because Kenyon can't hear you. But basically, Kenyon, what he said is he likes to pick from Claypool because of his size, NFL-type speed. A little concern with press coverage because he's saying not necessarily that he can't win, but he feels like his acceleration is a little slower when he gets pressed. So he like to see him maybe slim down, maybe 5 to 10 pounds. And he also said it appears to be that the Steelers will lean more towards the run game, bringing a guy in like that because he's a good blocker, and we know Juju can block. So there you have it. So like I said, guys, what we'll do, we won't really reflect that much. So let me say that now. Just get your thoughts out. we won't really reflect that much because it's hard to be on the same page with Kenyon when he can't hear you guys. And again, keep it short. We got a few more calls here. Next up will be 803, and I know he knows the routine, so I'm just going to go ahead and unmute him.
Hey, how you doing? I'd like to thank Kenyon for his due diligence on the scouting of these players. Found out so much more about the guys who, that got drafted and the guys who we targeted or we thought we were going to get. I felt that this draft was filling gaps. It was. We're not looking for. I don't see a lot. Maybe Claypool, but we're not looking for a whole lot of starters out of this draft. It was to fill in the depth chart. Guys who we thought we were going to get were drafted a little higher, like Tanner Muse and the other kid from Clemson that I thought we had a chance to get, but they were drafted just ahead of our picks. But other than that, I think even though these guys are going to be backups, it's going to benefit our special teams. And last point, my camp underdog, and I hope this guy makes the team and unseat the incumbent Jordan Berry, is Mr. Corliss Wakeman out of South Alabama / Mississippi State. Thank you very much.
Man, thank you for the call, man. Appreciate it. Kenyon, real quick, what he said is he definitely wanted to thank you for how you scout the players, gives them a better perspective of a lot of these guys that some of us might not know about. I always shout you out for that as well. So he wanted to thank you for that. And he said he felt like as a whole that this draft was about filling gaps. And I think we pretty much covered that on the draft night and the other quick impromptu shows that I did. Yeah, that's what it is. And he would prefer Jordan Berry not to make the team and this other punter make the team. So that's what's up. I ain't complaining about that either. Hey, if another kid can come in here and do it, let him do it. All right, moving right along, guys. We're only going to take 3 more. Keep it short, please.
Oh yeah, Sim.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jump, thank him. It's all good. I'm just trying to give information. We all family trying to, we all love the Steelers. I just try to give you a perspective of, watching certain players so we can kind of have a viewpoint on certain players, and that's it. So no, thank him. It's all good.
Absolutely. So next up, 678. Let's unmute him.
Thank you for taking my call, Sim. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing what you and Tony have to say about this backup quarterback situation, because it is a concern of mine. I was not impressed whatsoever with the backup situation. And I know most times backups don't play a whole season, but we don't know what Ben going to be when he come back. I have not seen Ben throw the ball. He's talking about he can rip it. I haven't seen it, and I'm concerned. I want to know what your thoughts are on the backup quarterback situation. Also, do you feel as though that Dotson, the 4th round draft pick, can play on the left hand side? Because in college he played on the right hand side, and I don't see them moving to Castro over to the right hand side so that he could play on his side. And also, do you feel as though that safety that we got from Maryland can come down and possibly help in the box and maybe give Ulysses Gilbert, like maybe possibly be Ulysses Gilbert's backup in the dime situation? Hopefully so. Thank you for taking my call. I'm also looking forward to hearing you and Tony say what y'all number one concern was when Ben was playing, and it used to be Ben. Thanks for taking my call, Sam. Have a great night, man. I love your show.
Man, thanks for calling, man. I'm going to try to sum this up real quick. And guys, not to get on anybody, keep it a little shorter, man. It's harder for me to recap. And like I said, the show is not going to be on much longer. But what he said, Kenyon, and also 678, Kenyon is on tonight. Not Tony. Kenyon is on. But I get what you were saying. But Tony is the one that used to always say he used to be concerned about Roethlisberger. But anyway, Kenyon, what he said is he wants us to talk about the backup quarterback situation, how we feel about it, because he is not happy with it, and we're going to do that briefly right after these calls. Wants to know, can Dotson play on the left side? And I forgot to mention that when we were giving our thoughts on him. That's going to be the question. The Castro's not moving. I wouldn't expect the Castro to move. And Dotson did play the right guard pretty much his entire career from what I saw. So that is going to be a question. You would expect a guard can make that transition, but we'll see. And then he says, do we think that Brooks will be able to help in the box? Not sure if you came on a little later, but we both went over that. May have to go back and rewind and hear a little piece of that. But yeah, Kenyon and I believe that that's where Brooks is going to be the most beneficial. I wouldn't say replacing Gilbert. I would like to see him and Gilbert both out there. And maybe we do a 3 safety set and keep the 2 backers, because we don't necessarily have to make a safety be that dime backer now, because Gilbert can cover. So I would love to see him and Bush and run a 3 safety set, in certain situations. Maybe if we know they're going to pass, then you might want to bring, Sutton. Bring Sutton on the field. But if it's just like a big nickel situation. Yeah,
because you can't. Here's the thing: you can't play Brooks in certain sets because he can be exposed in passing
and coverage.
Situation, especially if playing man to man. If you're in a zone situation, you can have Brooks out there. He can play. He can play in the zone if they get into a cover 3 or in certain situations they do that. But you don't want him out there in the man-to-man situation lined up against any receiver. I mean, no rack will burn him.
Yeah.
Consistently. So you don't want that. So, but in the box, I would agree with Sam. I would look forward to that.
Definitely. All right, let's get to these last 2 guys. Short and sweet, please. We got to get out of here. First up, 651.
What's up, Sam? How's everybody doing, man? I'm just going to make it quick. Of course, I like McFarland. That's one of the people that I talked about a couple weeks ago. I mean, quickest thing I can say about him is when he hits that corner, man, especially coming out of that shotgun that we like to run out of for some reason, he's like he's a track meet. It's like, it looks like he has a baton running a 4x1 or something. The other thing I want to say is I feel like the outside linebacker and the wide receiver that we got, Claypool, I think that's a message to Juju and Bud, letting them know when you come to the negotiating table, we're ready. Either you going to work with us, because TJ's going to write his own check. No doubt about it. So you two got to figure out which is important. You going to walk away, or, you going to stay with us and make a deal. Last thing, too, that I hadn't heard a lot of, I think Wormley is our modern-day Aaron Smith. It's like Aaron Smith was like a pole in concrete when he was on our team. He didn't get to the quarterback much, but when you ran to that side, he was right in the same spot he stood up in. You couldn't move him, and Wormley looks a lot like him. But thanks a lot.
Man, thanks for the call, man. You gave us a lot to discuss really quick, so let me just read them out real fast. He says he likes McFarland. Of course, what we all talked about, speed. He said, especially coming out of the shotgun that we like to run. If he hits the corner, he thinks that could be special. He says he feels like the pick of Highsmith and Claypool is sending a message to Connor and Bud. Now, he says Connor. I don't know. He might have meant Juju because Claypool is in there. So I'm going to assume you meant Juju. So he's basically saying it could be a message to them. So when they ready to negotiate, we're ready, saying, all right, you want to be a part of this and we pay you what we can pay you, or we got your replacements. That's an interesting way of looking at it. I mean, it could be. We never know how they thinking, in the office. And then the last thing he said, and this is an interesting one, and man, definitely give me your thoughts on this really quick before we grab the next caller. He says to him, Wormley is kind of like our modern-day Aaron Smith. Might not get you a whole lot of sacks, but when you go to his side, Aaron Smith was very stout. And wasn't a whole lot happening over there. He says Wormley's play reminds him of Aaron Smith. What you think about that?
I guess so. I mean, that's hard to compare him to Aaron Smith because Pittsburgh in that era was a traditional 3-4 team. They weren't in a lot of nickel packages in that era. I think Wormley. I just think the Steelers aren't expecting a traditional nose tackle to be their starter. If that's the best way I could give it to you. I don't think once they lost Hargrave, and people seem to forget this. Hargrave is not a traditional 3-4 nose tackle. He'll actually flourish better in Philly's defense because it's a 4-3. That's what that's what he came out of college doing.
Yeah. That's
so, true. I don't think they value like you have to have like a stud nose tackle, and I think that's something that they will address in 2021. For that draft, but I don't think that's it. But as far as, I guess you could say he's Aaron Smith, but is he gonna play end? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. We don't really know how they're gonna use him yet.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
that's the thing. So that's but that's a good thought. I like the thought.
Yeah, we don't know how they're gonna use him, man. That's a fact. All right, last one. 609. About to unmute him right now.
What's going on, SimFBallCritic? How's it going, man? I'd like to be nice and short, man. That Claypool pick, man, he kind of reminds me of DK Metcalf. You know what I'm saying? They came out in the second round, you know what I'm saying? Like in their draft class and stuff. But he kind of reminds me of, like, Metcalf, you know what I'm saying? They're, like, similar size, similar weight, similar speed, although Metcalf's a little bit faster and stuff like that, a little bit stronger. It's a freak athlete and stuff. He kind of reminds me of DK Metcalf because it's like, you know what I'm saying, the big, tall receivers, the blazing fast, you know what I'm saying, high, like, combat catching receivers and stuff. But he kind of similar to him. And what I like about this draft class is we got speed. And another thing is we had added depth and, like, team needs and stuff. You know what I'm saying, outside linebacker, running back, you know what I'm saying, safety, and D tackle. But I feel as though Alex Highsmith, he could be somebody. He could be something really special. Might not be this season, but next season he might be. He might be a steal. I just want to know how y'all thought, about what I said, and have a good one.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the call. We definitely appreciate that. He says he loves Claypool. He says Claypool kind of reminds him of DK Metcalf. He says in terms of, speed and strength and things like that. I didn't watch Metcalf a lot in college, so it's hard for me to compare him. Even in Seattle, it looks like to me, they use him a lot on streaks. But I could be wrong here. But I kind of feel like Claypool shows me a little more overall. I don't know. I could be wrong with that. But again, that's not an indictment on Metcalf. He says he loves that we got speed and we address the needs. I agree with that. And then he also says, the Highsmith guy, he thinks that this could be the steal of the draft. We don't know how he's going to turn out, but Highsmith could definitely be a special one. Maybe not this year, but maybe the year after. And I feel the same way, man. I think my comp to him right now is not just talent, but how I felt about TJ Watt coming out. I had the same feeling about Highsmith. When I watch him, I say, yo, he has raw talent. This dude, if he could translate this to the NFL and, work on his game, could be a special one. And imagine us being in a situation where we got 3 legit guys that can rush the passer. I like that. I likes that a lot. So
I would just say this: TJ Watt and Highsmith are similar in the fact that they kind of grinded to where they got, as opposed to like 48, who he was a specimen. You know what I mean? Like, when 48 went to the combine, he was a specimen. Yeah. He was doing great in all the drills. Everybody was like, "Oh, this guy's a specimen." Similar to Claypool. Think about it. Claypool. That's all he talked about. 4-4. That's everything he talked about. He looks like Calvin Johnson. Claypool doesn't really remind me of DK Metcalf. I would agree he has a little bit more skill sets. And I forgot about the answer to the question about Juju, a signal to Juju. Look, you can never have enough receivers. It's not a signal.
Yeah.
You put Juju in the slot,
That's
he
true.
will be more effective. Ben will throw him the ball a lot. You can never have a good. Never have enough receivers. And the Pittsburgh Steelers draft receiver and linebacker every year. It's what they do. So whether it's an inside or edge, they're going to draft a linebacker. They're going to draft a receiver. They'll draft a receiver next year. Watch. They'll do it because you can never have enough wide receivers, especially when you're all in trying to win a title. And that's what they're doing. They're going all in with them. So,
I
that's
think
pretty much
Kevin
it. That's
Colbert
my
actually said something about that. And I think he might have been in the post-draft. He said something about, look, 1 through 4, you've got to be, like, tight at receiver. So, yeah, and honestly, man, with Kenyon saying that, it didn't dawn on me until he just said that. What if we see the return of Juju Smith-Schuster when Antonio Brown was there? Not saying that Claypool and any of these guys are going to demand that type of attention, but it could be enough to where, like Kenyon is saying, Ben is finding Juju in the slot. And y'all know he's a matchup nightmare in the slot. So y'all going to still be saying this if Juju, puts up, let's be modest, 75 catches, 1,000 yards? I don't think y'all saying that. I think y'all be saying, oh, we got to sign him. We got to keep the band together. That's what the talk going to be if Juju performs. So, there you have it. But, guys, we're going to spend these last few minutes. I'm well over my hour. I hate to do it, but we're going to do it. And we're going to be quick with it. And while we do it, I'm going to play this video. I hope you guys can see it. It might not be that big. Matter of fact, I'm going to put it over my face so you guys can get a good look at it. And again, shout outs to Steelers Nation Highlights, man. And what we're basically going to talk about here, Mason Rudolph. You know what? Before I hit the button, let me say what I'm going to say about him, and then I'll allow you guys to watch that while Kenyon's talking, because y'all can't see Kenyon anyway, so maybe that's the smarter way to do it. I'm going to be quick with it. I'm going to stick to what I've been saying about Mason Rudolph. Let me go back to the negative things I said about Mason Rudolph after the Cleveland game. Mason Rudolph, to me, doesn't process the field that great at all times. Keyword, at all times. Mason Rudolph looks skittish in the pocket at times. Those are my biggest problems with him. I've always said that Mason Rudolph got the tools. Meaning, big guy, decent arm, not the best arm in the world, but decent arm. I loved his moxie. Y'all remember when I was singing that tune? I was like, yo, I like the confidence he's showing. Even in preseason. Even when he played in the game for those games that he did well. Because I think people are forgetting the decent things that he did. Y'all gonna see it in the clip. And shout outs again to Steelers Nation Highlights because they put together this video. This was a few months back, and I was like, let me go back and watch that video. I don't think we can deny the good plays that he made. So my whole point is, I'm not down all the way on Mason Rudolph. I don't know if he will ever turn the corner, but you're going to see in this video that if he could just play like this and build on that, he's not the worst quarterback in the world. Some of you guys in the chat had said, man, I like to see how he would have been had he not got concussed. So that's one thing, one variable. Now, whether you agree with that or not, I'm just throwing all of the variables out there. Some people say that. Other people say he was never right after that. Other people say, look at his bounce back in the Jets game when he had to come in and play after we benched up. And then he got hurt again. So whether you're up or down on Rudolph, I want you to watch this video objectively. Don't just focus on how negative some of his plays were. All quarterbacks go through that. Some quarterbacks, for whatever reason, they come in and they just take off. Everybody's not Patrick Mahomes. Okay? So I know sometimes our expectations are high because we see other players do certain things. But let's be as objective as we can. Now, if you don't like Rudolph, great. But I had to step back myself and say, you know what? If he could just be this, he ain't bad. All right, so I'm going to throw it to Kenyon, man, and let Kenyon give you his thoughts. And as he does that, feast your eyes on this.
Oh man, everybody knows I don't have the same. This is technically Mason's second year playing. I know he's been there a little longer, but it's really his second year. He kind of had a red shirt year. I think Mason can grow, as Sim would say. I think he can grow. I think he doesn't process situations well in certain situations. He's kind of iffy. And part of it could be he may have never been right after being concussed. But I don't have the same I'm not down on Mason. I don't think his stock is down. I think his stock is even. That's how I look at him. I think he has a shot. So I don't think he'll ever be a franchise quarterback, but I think he can be a serviceable backup. And he can be a bridge to your next quarterback if you can't find one in a draft, in a future draft. So, I would say I have patience with him. I just don't have that same type of look at him. He's not that bad because I don't look at him and say to myself, oh, he can never become better. You have to let guys have a chance to grow. As I always say, everybody knows my rules, 3 years, and you know what's up. So, Mason has been put in situations, and I think part of it is Fichtner. I don't think Fichtner trusts Mason in certain scenarios. And it's also, you have to figure in, it's hard, man, when your offense is built around one quarterback, and this offensive coordinator, Fichtner, who's been with the Steelers forever, but he really hasn't had a chance to really run the offense for a long period of time. And think about it this way. That's why Tomlin got it. Yeah, think about it like that. Because Fichtner couldn't adjust. And maybe need a little bit of help. So I just think Mason's stock is even. And that's pretty much it, how I feel about Mason. I have no issues with him. I'm not bashing. I'm not going to diss him. I'm just not. So, and I'm glad Sim got this. Sim texted me with this earlier, and I was just like, oh, yeah, people going to get real angry. But, I always try to have a worldview on our squad, and I don't think Mason's trash. I think he's what I call – he's still a project. He still has a chance to develop. But as you're watching this tape, you see he can make certain throws.
Oh, no. Look at the
he's
chat.
Kind of what it is, he's kind of robotic.
Look at the chat. They said he trash. Some people – y'all hard.
They say he's trash. Man. He's already trash. So if he's already trash after the second year, like I say, you say people who call him trash, y'all got to call 48 trash. You just do. If you're gonna call Mason trash, you got to call 48 trash because 48 has only had one good year. That's it. So if you're gonna do that, you got to call him trash. So, I just try to have a world view on certain players. Look, I didn't call Artie Burns out of his name until what, the third year?
Yeah. Artie Burns.
So I always look at it. From a world. Mason can be a nice backup, and that's that's pretty much it. As far as the other quarterbacks we got, I'll give you guys a headline. I think number 5 is going to beat out Duck.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that. Y'all know Kenya can't stand that guy.
I can't stand him. You know what I mean? I literally can't stand him.
Oh, man.
And that's basically it. Look, you have to we just have to hope that Ben doesn't really get hurt. That's pretty much what it is. You just got to hope Ben doesn't get hurt. And, Ben hasn't played 16 games in I don't know how many years. And so I expect him to miss 2 games. That's just my personal opinion. I think he will miss one, just for whatever. And and Mason to me has a chance to be better than Landry Jones.
Exactly.
That's how I look at it. He has a chance. So you guys are talking about bringing Landry Jones back. So
oh my gosh,
that's how I look at it. It's I'm not down on them like that. And as I said before, I don't think Steelers will address the quarterback position until maybe next year, maybe not. But I'm not down on Mason. I'm with him. I'm gonna think positive on Mason. I'm not gonna be, I'm not gonna hate on him.
Yeah, man. And as you guys are watching this come to an end, what is it about? I'll let the rest of it play here, and then we'll pretty much end the show. It's the thing is what I'm showing you guys. The reason why, matter of fact, I'm gonna wait till it's finished, and then I'm gonna look right in the camera so y'all can see how I feel. But I'm gonna explain to you why I'm showing this. It's not like we campaigning for Mason Rudolph. And that's what I think some people get it twisted. Like, even right here on this show, I see people, like, y'all think just because we give, and not even just us, just people in the chat that give an opinion about somebody, y'all think that's the end-all, be-all. It's like, why can't you like a guy or hope that the guy does well? Why does it have to be either they are bum or they the best player you've ever seen in your life? I don't understand that. It's never a middle. Like, why has it got to be that? So let me look right in the camera and say this. I'm not campaigning for Mason Rudolph. Remember, I'm not expecting him. I'm not saying this guy's going to be the franchise quarterback. He might be a career backup. But some of y'all want him off the team, period. So not only are we trying to get another quarterback for the future, and some of y'all ready to throw Ben out the door, y'all basically don't want Ben or Mason Rudolph. Y'all wanted us to go dive deep into the quarterback race this past draft. And I don't know what y'all were expecting. Were y'all expecting this guy to be the number two? Y'all are telling me that Mason Rudolph can't even be the backup quarterback at this stage? I just don't agree with that. Let's see what he's going to be. At least give him the same rope that we gave Landry Jones. And I'm not saying I agree with the Steelers doing that, but this goes back to what we said earlier, the Steeler way. This is the Steeler way. They have not given up on Mason Rudolph, and I haven't. As a quarterback, I think Mason Rudolph will get better. I don't know if he's going to lead us to the promised land after Ben's gone. I don't know that. He hasn't shown me franchise quarterback at this moment. So that I agree with. But I'm not giving up on him yet. He could become something. You just saw right there what his good is. We know what his bad is. But I think, football fans, and especially fans of their own team, so I'll say us Steelers, a lot of times, guys, as a regular fan, you go with the moment. You like a guy one play, you hate him the next play. And that's just human nature, but you can't be like that when you're really looking at it as a whole and you're looking at it from big picture. I have not forgotten about JT Barrett, so just to answer my man's question earlier, how do we feel about the situation? I don't necessarily like the backup situation right now. I've never been big on Paxton Lynch. Duck Hodges, I'm not big on him either, even though if he happened to be the third string quarterback, whatever, you would hope or you would expect that what happened last year is not going to happen again. You lose two quarterbacks. So if for whatever reason Duck ended up being the number 3, okay. I don't think he will, though, because I think, again, remember, Duck got cut. So Paxton Lynch has a good opportunity to beat him out, or JT Barrett. And before we start running down the JT Barrett rabbit hole, I don't know what he is right now as a NFL quarterback. I have zero idea. I don't know how he's going to mesh in our system. So we can sit here and say, like I know a couple of you guys said last week, maybe he could be our Jalen Hurts. Maybe, but I don't know. I haven't seen this from him in the NFL. I haven't watched any of his preseason games. I have no idea what JT Barrett has been in the NFL. Zero. Because I won't paying attention to quarterbacks that weren't on the Steelers team that weren't not starters. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know what he did. We can go back and say what he was at Ohio State, but what has he done in the NFL? I don't know. Now, it ain't always fair to say that because he was sitting behind starters, but I'm just saying I don't have any evidence to think that he's going to come in there and blow Mason Rudolph out the door and blow Paxton Lynch out the door. I don't know that. I got to wait and see like everybody else. So,
yeah.
Those are my thoughts, man, and I think we could end the show on that. You know, I guess what they wanted us to do was, you know, do what Green Bay did. And I ain't mad at it, but you know the Steelers won't do it. We tried to tell y'all they won't doing that this year. Listen, and here's the final thing I'll say about the show, and then I'll let Kenya get his final thoughts in. Y'all should know by now that Ben Roethlisberger is beloved at Pittsburgh. You know, I'm talking about the organization and in Pittsburgh. And Kevin Colbert. Come on, man. Y'all know after the season last year and how Ben went down, they're going to do whatever they can to put Ben in the best light and best position. So thinking that they was going to go quarterback this year to ruffle the feathers, I could be wrong with that. But no way that was happening, especially after you saw the little riff after Rudolph was picked. And I don't know if any of this is true. It's just my speculation. They're going to stick with the guy that they picked when Ben didn't agree with going quarterback that year. And this year, when Ben is now coming back and Colbert is saying, we might get a better Ben Roethlisberger, you knew they was going to go all out and try to help him offensively. They won't draft no quarterback, man. And that should have been, the writing should have been not even on the wall. The writing should have been everywhere, plastic. Y'all should have seen that at your local billboard. Come on, man. But that's all I got, man. How you want to close this out, brother?
They wanted us to give you a preview to 2021. I'll just say this. I'm not going to get deep into this. But there are prospects. If the Steelers want a quarterback for 2021, watch out for Brock Purdy out of Iowa State. My favorite pick, the pick I hope the Steelers could get. This is my hope. It's not happening, but I hope that they get Penny Sewell out of Oregon, the left tackle, who is the best left tackle prospect coming into the NFL since Tony Baselli.
Oof.
So he's better than, put it to you this way, if he was in this draft, he could have went one. That's how good he is. So
Tony Baselli. Woo-wee.
I'm telling you right now.
Some of y'all young chumps.
Some of the young
chumps
don't know who he is.
Yeah, they don't know. Yeah, young pups
don't know who he is. But
go look him up.
Y'all don't understand. Go look him up. He's that good. My other hope pick is Patrick Surtain II. And you know, everybody knows who Patrick Surtain is. His father, who played for the Dolphins, great cornerback. His son plays for Alabama. He's a cornerback. Now, if you want to have somebody that you want to replace, Joe Hayden, that's your guy. And if wherever we pick, another person is Micah Parsons out of Penn State.
Oh yeah.
Now, you want to pair somebody with Bush? Give me Micah Parsons, because he can do what UG3 does. He can do both of those things. So he's that good. So, of course the quarterbacks. I just don't think we'll be, a big runner for that. There's a couple of defensive tackles. Jay Tufele out of USC. He's going to go high, late first, middle of the first. He's a guy who's a little bit better than Hargrave, I would say. He can play the 3-4, but you can also put him out, in the nickel. He can do both. Almost like Tuitt. He's versatile. And so that's just a few of the picks. I'm early scouting. I'm early looking at cats. But those are the guys I would tell you guys to just pay attention to. Penny Sewell. There's also offensive tackle out of Alabama that's going to go high. There's another one out of Michigan that's going to go high. But as the season goes on, whenever the season starts, you get deep into that later. But that's my 221 crystal ball. That's basically it.
Yeah, man, and just to piss everybody off, this is just a joke, because kind of going off of what Ray, what's his name here, Wade Johnson is saying. He said, you naming top 10 picks, Steelers would be picking late. No, this is what's going to happen next year. The number, let me see. Let me piss y'all off real quick. We just having fun. With the number 3 pick of the 2021 draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson. How would y'all like that? Just think about that for a second. We are trash this season, but we mess around and we pick somebody like Trevor Lawrence. How would y'all feel about that? The irony is crazy, right? Would you be willing to have a trash season and every Tuesday and every post game we on here complaining, knowing that we gonna get a guy like Trevor Lawrence? How would y'all feel? I see y'all throwing up the laugh emojis. But yeah, I'm just playing.
And always remember this, Wade Johnson. You said we be picking late. You said we picking late. Hey man, Devin Bush was we picked it. We traded up. So what are you talking about?
Nah, that's.
I mean, why wouldn't Kobe do that again? If he feels like he can get somebody that can help him, so that's not out of the question. It's not like it won't happen. I just think that they'll never be like at the number 1 pick. But there are people that are available. There's a couple of safeties. Yeah, Justin Fields. There are a couple of safeties.
I like that guy.
Yeah, if you want to replace Terrell Evans, you guys are on Terrell Evans next year. There's like 5 safeties coming out, and I already know who they are. And two of them, one of them, they're comparing to Troy Polamalu, and he plays at USC.
Oh yeah. Don't he got a nephew or something like that play ball too?
Yeah, his nephew. Yeah, his nephew plays for USC. He's the other safety. He's the safety that you text me about. Remember, I said he's okay. But the other safety that he's from the same era where Troy played high school football in Oregon. But he's been hurt. He's had two surgeries in the 2 years he's been at USC. But he is a straight. They're comparing him to Troy. I'll put it to you this way: he's not Troy. Let me just get that out the way. He's not Troy. But you know what he is? He plays the same way Troy does. Where USC puts him all over the field, you know what I mean? And lets him do what he does. So that guy, I would take him because he's a playmaker. And then there's another guy at Alabama that I would take that's like that. So these are just like whatever. So, but the other safety that's Troy's nephew is not as good as the safety I'm talking about at USC. He's not as good as him. He's longer, NFL body, but he's not, he's an okay tackler. Almost like a I would say like a Mike Mitchell, like Grant Delpit, that type of the same type of body type.
Yeah.
The same type of body type, like long, like linky. This other safety, he's not like that. He's more compact. He'll hit you. He comes up, they put him in the box, almost like the Antoine Brooks who we got this year. But he's way better than him. He can pick. He's a playmaker. He picks balls off, bats balls down, sacks people. He does all that crap. He's injury prone. So. But I got my eye on certain people. So just keep your eyes on these people as the weeks go by, and that's all I have to say about this. So don't worry about them. Don't think they won't be trading. May not trade up. Corbett has already dispelled that rumor about them trading.
Sure.
When they traded up for Bush, that was it for me. I was like, he's going all in. He's going all in. So if they feel like they find the next choice, they'll do it again. So that's it.
That's it, folks. And yeah, Joseph Veladice, I appreciate you saying, hope I'm not in trouble for going so long. Yeah, man, young folks, close your ears. I might just have to put a little extra work in tonight. But anyway, man. Let me. Oh man, I forgot.
Yes, sir.
I forgot Debbie and Lanisha was in here. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
But hey,
yes, sir.
Wouldn't you demand that? So, but yeah, let me get up out of here, man. Justin Fields. I'm gonna just say that right now. I like that guy. I'm going all the way out and saying that I like him. But we can debate all that a little later. I like that cat though. I'm curious to see how this year is gonna be. But yeah, Really like him. I just like the dimensions that he brings. But anyway, man, let's get out of here. I appreciate Kenyon coming through. One of these times we'll get Tony back on here, man. But Tony's always here in spirit with us. And that's it. Y'all be good. Of course, man, be safe. Please, please be safe. I know by the time I talk to y'all again, you might be in a state that's kind of reopening. Just be smart. Don't be stupid. You know, it just a quick sidebar. I don't know if y'all saw, like, the lady in North Carolina that headed up this organization, you know, this whole movement of reopen North Carolina, had about 100,000 followers. Come to find out, she done tested positive for COVID-19 and was asymptomatic. So look at how crazy that is. I'm sure she was gathering around these people. See what I'm saying? See how easy it could just go haywire if we don't chill out a little bit now that everything is, you know, going down. So Debbie said, don't stop, get it. All right, man. Now I got the green light. Debbie done co-signed us, so there you go. But all right, man, we out of here, man. Y'all be safe. Thanks for coming. Oh, thanks for you guys who donated, and of course all of y'all who donate offline. If you're interested on how to do that, it's in the description. PayPal, Cash App. I will be creating a Patreon account at some point because somebody suggested that. So there you have it. But let me go. Catch y'all next week. Be safe. Be good. God bless. And good night. Peace.